Everyone, welcome to the ADECO channel. Today is Thursday, May the 17th. I'm Sebastian Ram. In the news today, Service Pack 3, also known as SP3, will be presented in few seconds in a live broadcast with help of our local correspondent in Melville, USA, Saurabh Caffrey. Without any further delay, let's discover the Service Pack 3. All right, folks, today we have around like a small dozen, 11 actually, user story to demo to you. The plan was initially to cover all the user story, which are in the number of 12. However, we are a little bit delayed on one of the user story related to microsites for the SEO optimization, SEO rewriting, sorry, of a job result page. We are finalizing the tests, therefore a demo should be available early next week. We'll keep you in the loop, and especially friends, because it was a request for friends. Today's demo will cover different areas, from the content management to the job search to the branch locator. And I think we can directly jump to the first user story directly. Saurabh, if you want to scroll.
Sure.
All right, first user story for ADECO Italy, requested by ADECO Italy. We have for the ADECO brand a new page template available, and only for the ADECO brand. So for all the content managers of any ADECO website within SP3, you will have a new template called ADECO Clients page available. Initially requested by Italy, this new page template is designed to be in the candidate section and to introduce to the candidates a specific client. So it's pre-filled with components, and all the content components will also be pre-filled with default content in order to help the content manager structuring the data and the overall page. Of course, as a content manager, feel free to use it the way you want, but just so you know that the initial request comes from Italy for this very specific need. Saurabh, if you want to jump into the demo.
Yeah, so let me quickly showcase how this functionality is working. As Sebastian said, this functionality is applicable only for the ADECO brand. In that case, whenever any content manager will try to insert a new client page, it will be available from the home option for the ADECO brand. If I am not a ADECO brand user, and let's say if I'll try any other site, let's say either ADECO Medical or BNC, if I'll go under the BNC node and try to access this page. Sorry. So you can see that in the insert options, this option is not available. So let me go back on the ADECO brand and create a new page here. Called as let's say I say client demo page. So it will create a page, as well as it will create data sources for this particular page. So here you can see a page has been created, and default title and the default image of the page is already available. Title image already available. If I'll go into the presentation detail, you can see that now we have new spotlights, which are basically pointing to the data sources which is created specifically for this particular page with the default text. So if I'll close this and go to the data source section where the data source get created,
okay, so pre-compiled. Is pre-filled. These components are pre-filled on the creation a new page, a new client page.
So all the pages you can see, all the data sources are created here with the default text
Okay.
which is available here. So let me quickly create the default version
Mhm.
in the French language. And if I'll go back on the home page, sorry, the page which we created, and if I'll publish this in the French, so here you can see that the page has been created with the default title which we defined here, the page title, and the background image is also coming, which is this background
Okay.
image. This has the default text for the content as well area for the image, but that's also the part of the HTML completely. Then there is a section for the video, and there is a section for the map. The map can be defined here. So that way any kind of client page or any kind of page which comes in this particular format can be created.
So there are three spotlight. One, the first of the text introduction, the second for the video, and the third for the
Maps.
maps.
Yeah.
Mhm. Ok.
Quindi tu poi modifichi.
Sì, sì, questo è la pizza.
So as a content manager, you just need to update the content in the data sources, which get created automatically when the page get created, and needs to publish all these things, and it will be available.
Le offerte di lavoro della massa.
And the job cards.
I'm sorry.
The part of the job cards.
Yeah. So for that, on the page, if I'll go back, client demo page, you can see a predefined job list is already there. As we don't have it defined any criteria, it is not coming.
It's predefined field, this spotlight, right?
I'm sorry, can you come again?
No, this spotlight, the predefined jobs is already already placed in the
Yes.
page. Okay.
Yes, this predefined job list is already placed.
Okay.
Now, based on the page requirement, job can be configured here. All the criteria can be configured here.
Ce l'hai già lì.
Che non è precompilato. Cioè...
Se è vuoto, sì, perché devi mettere a mano i video ogni. Qui.
No, quello ho capito. Dentro hai 3 blocchi.
No,
dovrebbe essere un terzo blocco.
No. Where is can you feel this predefined spotlight just for see where is placed in the front end page?
Yeah.
Just for a sample. Sì, no, quello lì lo vedi da presentation, detail, c'è un altro percorso.
Non posso metterlo lì come quarto spot.
Perché quello lì non funziona così. Bueno, loro hanno preso un robo di assistente e l'hanno.
Might be on this particular site we don't have much jobs, that's why it's not showing. But yeah, as given in the mockup, it will appear in this particular section after the video link, all the jobs.
Between the video and the map? No.
Under the information part, under the first spotlight.
Sorry, can you come again?
Yes.
So here you can see that like we have a client spotlight, then we have a predefined
Yes.
job list.
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, so this is the order which it will follow for the all the content sequence.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Any other question?
No, thanks.
Thank you. Seb, I'm handing over to you.
Please, can you add almost one card if you take the ED for one test job of outside France, just for just for.
You mean to say one card?
Yeah, turn to
An example with the job.
Just turn to the Adeco France to the site.
Yeah. So what I will do after this demo, I'll configure this and send this link to you. So you can access.
Just for see now. 1 second. Can you search any job? One job of tests in the front end.
You mean to say one card per job?
Three, but
just try to find one job, Surab.
See, find one job
configured so they can confirm that where the job cards are located.
Okay.
Just for see.
Seb, I'm getting some challenges to show the jobs right now. I'm not sure like how the jobs are configured here.
Okay, so in that case, what we'll do after the demo?
No, I can. Yeah, it's getting.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's getting. But let me just put the carousel so it looks pretty. Right now, it's coming very. The 3 cards per row, 10 jobs, and I said carousel enabled.
Then you should have only to display 3 jobs, so you just have one or put it in carousel, yeah.
Yeah.
Vediamo cosa come viene.
It's taking some.
I picked one link where jobs are already configured.
Sì, sì, trova più. You find any job,
Yeah. So Nidhi already configured it. I'm just going to show you. So here you can see that like this page get fixed UI, but this is the position where it will come.
Is displayed so. Es ¿cómo se puede decir? No uniforme, no, ¿cómo se puede decir? No. It's graphically no.
Is that good? Should I move forward?
So the jobs are just between the introduction text and the just below the introduction text, as it was given by your team from the mockup. So if there is any problem, let us know after the demo, and we'll have a call or we'll arrange that.
Okay, maybe then we can reach a ticket for fixing this graphic details.
Yeah.
No, so the UI will be fixed. The UI will not be an issue. When you will test in the BAT cycle, this carousel UI will be fixed. However, if the position is not correct, please let us know. So, or please let Seb know so we can fix it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, but the margin.
Yeah, but it's so. The margin are not right because this is the test environment and it's not replicating exactly the same styles. So what we want to confirm is the order of each element, but when you will test it in UAT, the margin will be okay. It's just here, if you have a look, you can see that it's tested from the test environment, which is not a perfect duplicate from higher environment. So this is why you have a little bit of, this is why the margin here are not shown correctly. But there will be in UAT when it's pushed in UAT.
Dimensione di testa.
No, perché quella è dinamica. Dovrò richiedere io che lo facciamo loro tramite il Global CSS. Non posso farlo.
Ok.
Comunque mi sembra che possiamo che nel periodo che abbiamo di test.
And from mobile view has compared this
Can you
this
resize
page.
the browse?
Thanks.
So mobile view be like that, where you have a title, image, and then you have a content, then jobs, video, and the bottom area is for the map.
Non c'è, dobbiamo provare,
Ok.
dobbiamo testare la mappa. Va bene. Ok.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks. It's okay.
Okay, perfect. So handing over to Sab.
Yeah, let's go to a second user story. Related to predefined parameter when we have a job page result requested by Luxembourg. The use case here is that Luxembourg has a certain number of industry pages in which a job result component is displayed with additional facets and so on. And the request was to make sure that whenever a candidate makes a job alert based on one of these pages, the predefined industries is also shown in the pop-up when you define the email alert criteria. And also within the email content itself, as a content manager, you can define a token, which is a reminder of all the criteria used by the candidates, and to make sure that the predefined criteria, so the industry criteria in this use case, will be also reminded in the email content. So we have extended that to not just cover the industry criteria. So whenever you are using in your website job results page having a component with predefined criteria, predefined like in advance, then you can enable this feature in order to make sure that the predefined criteria are also shown to the candidates whenever there is a job alert to be defined by the candidate itself. Additionally, and lastly, we have made an enhancement to the markup, so you can also style separately, if you wish, the predefined criteria, as I put in my second screenshot. So in my second screenshot, we can see that the predefined criteria has a green value, where the candidate criteria, which are basically the additional facets he has selected, are being shown in blue. Surad, if you want to jump.
Yeah, let me just quickly show this story. So I'm under the Luxembourg node of Adecco brand, and this is the job page where I have a predefined jobs configured. So let me quickly jump on the particular language. Okay, so here you can see that we have a list result control, which is the default job control. Under that, if I'll go, I have a new checkbox called as the show predefined criteria in the job alert. check the box to display predefined criteria for the job result page in the job alert form. So if the checkbox is enabled, then only this functionality will work, otherwise it will not work. So in that case, if any business needs this functionality to be enabled for more than like 10 or 20 pages, which is not manually configured, it's a tedious job. In that case, please let us know so we can run a PowerShell to enable this checkbox automatically for certain pages or for the number of pages. So once this checkbox is enabled, if I'll go directly on the page, I am on the I'm on the job result page or a predefined page for the accounting and finance insurance job. And if I'll click here, you can see that the filter criteria is automatically coming by default. So if I'm doing a alert configuration, then all the jobs which I'll receive will have accounting and finance industry predefined. Let's say if a candidate come and add the more criteria here, in that case, if I'll go back, I will have two criteria. One is the predefined one and other one is the temporary one. So that way it will work. So let me just fill the form. So now if I'll when I'll receive the mail, it will show me that like I configured my request with the two filter criterias. Anything else you want to cover here in this particular story?
No, does anyone have any question? I'll take that as a no.
Actually, I have
Yeah,
a question.
well, please.
So where does that extra criteria show up? Does it show up on the form when you create your job alert?
In the pop-up. So,
pop-up
Sorry,
list.
if you want to click again on create a job alert.
I got that. Does it
Yeah.
show up in any of the emails that get sent to the subscriber?
So in the email content itself, the content manager can use a token,
Okay.
which was already existing,
Okay.
which is a reminder of all the criteria.
Okay.
And then the additional predefined criteria will also show up
Okay.
in the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
Does
talk.
that answer your question?
It does.
Is that a good answer?
It's a good answer. I just I'll talk to Saurabh afterwards. I have
Yeah.
a question that we
Sure.
look at.
All right. All right, next user story. Related to the job feed, sorry if there was maybe a little bit of confusion during the release notes because I put that it was requested by both France and Finland. Actually, the thing is, this is the last user story of a request which contains several user stories, which was gathering both needs from Finland and France. So this is why I mentioned both France and Finland. Apologize again for the confusion, but this particular user story is only related to France, actually. So France wanted to be able to use some fields which were available in the system, but actually not selectable when creating a job feed. There's two fields where client name and contract ID. I believe these are the two last remaining fields which were not available, so we should be all covered now because they are indeed available. Sora?
Yeah. So moving back to the site code tree. Here I will show this story on the Finland, as France has so many jobs and opening a job feed for the France takes time. So under the job configuration, job feed configuration, Finland, yeah. So under the job feed configuration, now we have two new fields called as a client ID, client name, and the contract type ID. This would be available for generic job feed, Indeed job feed. Google job feed doesn't show any content in the feed. It just shows the URL of the job result. So these fields doesn't impact anything on the Google side. This will impact on the generic job feed and the Indeed job feeds area. And once these fields are enabled, Then in that case, if I'll download the file, let me quickly download the file. Sorry, so it's jumping. So this is the job feed which is generated after the fields gets enabled. So you can see that now in the job feed we have a client ID as well as we have a contract type also. So in case if we have a multiple contract type, under the contract types node, it will create multiple contract type node with the type ID and the type name. So this change is part of the service pack 3 or this for this particular story.
Any question?
One quick thing also I want to update. Let's say if you are not using the fields for the XML generation, or if you are using the XSLT, in that case also this XSLT will keep the details of the contract ID and the sorry, client name and the contract ID.
Thanks, Surab. Any question? All right, let's jump to the next user story. Next user story, is it this one on my list? I have one before, maybe you...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this one, yeah, no problem. All right, sub-industry facet. This user story was requested by France, and currently if you go to Adecco France, you can see that there is only one facet which covers industry and sub-industry. This is the screenshot I took on the left. So if you select an industry having sub-industries, they will be on the same facet and kind of indented to see the difference, but everyone is still gathered in one facet. And the request from France was to be able to have a possibility to split both industries and sub-industry in two separate facets, probably to have a better UI for the candidate and a better understanding of the different selection of some industries and etc. This feature is not actually enabled, by default. So the content manager will have to enable it because all the websites so far are not using like a sub-industry, or at least not wanting, because it's coming from France, a sub-industry as a separate facet. So as a content manager, if you want to use the feature, you will have to enable it, and Surab will show you.
Yeah, so for that, what you need to do, first you need to have a sub-industry facet available under the facet configuration. So if I'll go under the search facet, you can see that like a sub-industry facet is defined here under the search facet collection. So a sub-industry facet is defined. It is a simple facet and part of the search facet under the site data shared. Once this is defined under the job result facet configuration, you can have a sub-industry facet as a separate facet defined apart from the industry facet. And under the job setting, you can have this enabled, this functionality. So job facet configuration is a new section now. Under that, you have a checkbox which says that enable the sub-industry facet for this particular site. Once it is enabled, if I'll go to the UAT site, and if I'll go on the page with the default search, sorry, it's coming. So here you can see that like I have so many industries defined. Let's say if I'll select the automobile, I will have a separate filter criteria called as a sub-industry. Translation can be defined based on the business need. So if I'll select a sub-industry, I'll get the filtered job for that particular sub-industry here. In that way, this will keep the like let me move on the incognito here, so that will be very clear. So if I go and say automobile, yeah, so I have only 2 jobs, which is basically for this particular sub industry. Let's say if I'll go back and select any other sub industry, any other industry, so in that case I will get the sub industry only for the selected industry, the last one, not for other industries which I already selected. And if I'll select this, I will have the criteria defined, one for all the sub industries which I selected here. If I'll remove this, it will go filter accordingly, it got selected. So this is the way this functionality is working. Any question in this?
Yeah, small one. Jimmy
Yeah.
speaking.
Sure.
It's just when you select sub-industry, you have in the title of your facets, for
Yeah,
for
so
example, select just one sub-industry, and after just on the recap on the bottom, you have industry, not the name of the industry. Yeah,
you mean to say this is the
that,
facet
yeah.
name? Yeah, that's configurable. So we can fix it, making it as a sub industry.
Okay, perfect.
Any other question?
No, thanks.
Seb, you want to
Yeah,
something
if
else?
no one else have any other question, let's go to the next user story. Next user story is related to the job alert email requested by friends to have some improvements in the name of having new tokens available in order to have a richer content and something which is a bit more personalized. So there will be, sorry, a new token available to display the total number of jobs available for the given alert. We will have a new token to display the city of a job listed in the email alert, as well as another token to display the contract type. On top of that, there will be a new parameter, so the content manager will be able to configure the number of jobs to show inside the email alert itself. Sora?
Yeah. So let me go back on the test environment. Sorry. So back to the UAT environment, and under the job setting, if I'll go for the alert section, now we have a new configurations which says number of jobs to be displayed in the email alert. Default value is 5. If you want to change it, you can do, like, you can go with any number, but preferable would be 10 or 15 numbers. Once this is available, then few changes needs to be done in the email template to enable the functionality with the new tokens. So if I'll go under the job alert token and go back up, so here you can see that the first token which we have here is the number of jobs. So this will say how many maximum number of jobs are available for this particular criteria which candidate has selected during the alert creation. We also have a token for the city, which is job summary.city, and the job summary.contract type. There are 2 new tokens, as well as we have as I said in the subject, similarly we have a token for number of jobs in the body section also. So these tokens can be configured to show a city of the job, a contract type of the job, and the total number of jobs available with the search criteria candidate has selected for the alert. There is one more thing which I just want to highlight is about the double token implementation. So let's say in any particular scenario, you want to have a text called as a job in a city, and you have defined the city. And in that case, let's say the city is not available. In that case, if you want that this the whole line will not come in the email alert template, you need to keep structured that way in the in the double token, so that way the whole section will not appear in the final email alert if a city is not available for the corresponding job. Once all these things are configured, I can show you the mail which I received as part of the daily email alert. Uh, so here you can see that I have a city as well as I have a contract type available for the job alert, as well as total number of jobs available with the selected criteria which user has created. Any question on this?
Yeah. It's just, can you resize your window
This window?
just to make sure this is responsive.
This behavior would be same what we have before. So in this job alert, we didn't change anything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But
So it's purely the token which have been added. If there is a problem of responsiveness, it might be due to the code itself, but like the HTML code behind. But this HTML code, this markup has not been changed at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Any other question? All right, let's try.
Hi, sorry.
Yeah. No
This is
problem. Go
Abdullah.
ahead.
I wanted to know where can we find the list of those tokens?
So
They will be available in the documentation section of the live documentation website, actually. We have a blog in which we post the demo and the release notes, and next to that there is the documentation section. So all the token, or the new token will be available here and displayed there.
Okay, thank you.
So moving on the next one.
Anything else? Yeah, let's move. Okay, we have lights suddenly appearing in our room. It's very bright now. The next user story is related to the RSS feed of the blog, not the other RSS feed for the jobs and so on. It's really only for the blog requested by friends, and it is about being able to configure the number of articles to display in an RSS feed. So before it was fixed to hard-coded actually to a certain number due to the implementation of the blog, and now the content manager will be able to put the number of articles to display in the blog RSS, knowing that there is in any case a hard-coded limit which is at 1,000 articles due to performance, potential performance issues. So Rob?
Yeah. So going back to the job. Yeah. So under the I will show this story on the PNC because this site is perfectly working with this blog. France, not the France, UK, sorry.
Two things you have to look at. The biggest thing on software.
So here, if I'll go under the blog section for the UK side, I can see that there is a tree called a blog. Under that we have a setting.
Usually it depends on the service.
Give me 1 second. Let me quickly search from here. Yeah. So under this we have a new setting called as a maximum number of articles displayed in the blog RSS. As of now, you can see that we have 7 blocks configured. And if I'll go into the site and say number of blocks, so here this is the RSS feed of the that particular blog. And if I'll go and say items, so you can see that like there are total 7 item tags created against this particular blocks collection. So it doesn't matter like how many blocks are there on the UI or what is the hard coding. It will always come with the number of blocks defined in the site code. Any question on this?
Yeah, from
Sure.
just it's a she configuration about the descriptions of your RSS, because if you go back to your RSS, we don't have descriptions. You know, the header in the RSS, you put descriptions, title, and all this different stuff.
You mean to say in the RSS?
Yeah, here, just here, we don't have title, for example, for this RSS. Sometimes for some reader, this field is required. Not title in item, but title into the
The
Chinese.
header of RSS.
Yeah, exactly. This is some like not really required, but some reader asks us to put a name into that, just to know if it's a missing configuration from your end or
Yeah, it should be the missing configuration. If I'll see the live site of Adecco France, give me 1 minute.
it just be sure to, when you limit the number of the article, you not lose this information.
Yeah,
No, the number of article is the number of item, and it's not related to anything in the header.
Okay,
so
just to be
just
sure.
it's just the fact that it's not configured in UAT.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Thanks for the question. Any other question? All right. Let's go to the next user story, which is also related to the RSS of a blog and also requested by France, which is to be able to have the main article image available in the RSS, because it's not the case right now. So, Surab, if you could demonstrate
Sure.
that.
So going back to the site code area, and if I go back to the France, so definitely one question you might have, that why I showed this particular on the BNC UK, this particular story requested by France. So we are finding one particular difficulty where the RSS is showing one less item for the France, and we are looking into that why it's happening, but that would be available fixed before BAT will start. So if I'll go here, so so this particular image path was not coming initially as part of the RSS which generated by for the France for any particular view. So if I'll go back on the France UAT blog RSS, and if I'll try to search, the one image is defined there. So you can see that like this particular blog which is resource travel temporary interdict has the image available now. So any question on this?
All right, let's jump into the next user story then. Okay, so this one is the one which was delayed, as we mentioned. Lisa is laughing, but I actually kept the slide here because when we will do the demo early next week, I will update this presentation so it will be appearing normally. That's why it's still here.
So I'm not sure that France knows that we're having a demo next week.
Well, it needs to be arranged, of
Right,
course.
so we are going to do a demo for France, specifically on this microsite item.
Mhm.
I believe we're going to do it at the start. Thanks for reminding me. We'll do that at the start of BAT. So
Mhm.
we'll do it on. I believe we'll schedule it for the 23rd in the morning for France. Okay. Jimmy?
No, perfect.
I
Thanks.
hope you guys are here and starting to be AT.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and set that up right now I'm thinking about it.
All right. Next user story. So I don't know what you think, but maybe we can do this one and maybe ZipRecruiter more or less at the same time because which is the next user story. So basically, these are two user stories requested by USA to be able to interact with both Facebook and ZipRecruiter. And the goal here is for our system to be able to send a feed to both Facebook and ZipRecruiter so the candidates can actually see the jobs from these two different websites and also apply to the jobs directly from Facebook and ZipRecruiter. So,
yeah. So here I'm in the Adecco USA site, and we have a two feed created for the for the USA site. One is for the Facebook and one is for the ZipRecruiter. So as part of the development and the configuration, these items will have the generic job board provider configured, and for the ZipRecruiter as well as for the Facebook, and there is a separate XSLT created for generating the job feed in the format requested by the Facebook as well as the ZipRecruiter. So this XSLT, which is very specific to Facebook, will generate the XML feed for the Facebook data. So if I'll open this, you can see that this is the structure which is applicable for the Facebook, where we have our job detail, ID, title, description, and other information. Similarly, if I'll go back on the ZipRecruiter, there is a separate site job feed generated for the ZipRecruiter. So from the development perspective or from the configuration perspective, you just need to make sure that the updated on the correct XSLT is available or configured for the ZipRecruiter as well as on the Facebook. Any questions so far? Okay. One more info.
Sorry. Hi, Josh. With the US, how would you? Is there a URL that will be able to direct Facebook and ZipRecruiter to be able to get that XML feed? Will it live live from a public standpoint, like a URL we can hit to get to it?
Yes. So in that case, like whatever the site core item you got to create, that URL you need to provide to the Facebook, and Facebook will hit this particular URL to retrieve the jobs information.
Hi, this is Carmen from Canada. Is it possible for you to send us details as well regarding this, both Facebook and ZipRecruiter?
the details
What
of
Josh
you mean
was-
the XSLT or which kind of detail or the overall description?
I believe Canada's feeds are set up the same way as the USA. So if you could please send me more information and regarding to Josh's question as well.
Yeah, because we'll have to provide ZipRecruiter with the exact URL that they can hit to look at the sitemap. So I wasn't sure if it was just easily accessible in this menu that we could just copy and paste a URL, or how would you get it to it from a URL standpoint?
So the thing is that you, as a content manager, will create a feed as any other feed, and it's just that you will use an XSLT that we will provide to you and which will be available to be downloaded from the documentation website. But in the end, if I understood your question correctly, the URL for ZipRecruiter or Facebook to get the jobs is the URL of the feed you define in your website.
Okay. So like this example would be, adeccoUSA.com/feeds/Facebook/job/board/sitemap. That would be the URL that they'd be able to hit.
Exactly,
Okay.
absolutely. Like any other feed that you already manage in your website.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, that will be written down in the documentation, so it's clear for everyone on top of additional details.
That'd be great. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other question? Okay. One thing which I just want to highlight for the ZipRecruiter. So ZipRecruiter has its own set of reference data, like in terms of the category and the employment type. It uses its own category and employment type rather than what we are using. So we had to create one mapping which we created and we configured on this particular path. These all things would be the part of the document, but I just want to highlight these things so that when you are going to configure, make sure that the mapping would be available there. Okay. Moving back to the presentation. Yeah, Seb.
All right, the next user story is about the update application, candidate application workflow, interacting with Maya, requested by the USA. Right now, we have a specific flow with a candidate doing his or her application and submitting the application and interacting or not with Maya. This workflow has been slightly changed in order for the candidate to systematically land into a confirmation page. And the confirmation page will have two different contents, whether or not the job is Maya enabled or not, as per the specification of the US team. Sora?
Yeah. So just opening the new tab for the test environment. Sorry for the delay, as these are our local environments, so it may take time. So here I'm going to show this as a login user. So let me log in. So I'm going as a login user, and let's say if I'll click on this particular job, which is a Maya job here. So if I'm submitting my application, in that case, you will redirect it on the thank you page, which is not happening right now in the production, and you will have an option to continue your application with the Maya. So once I click on this, I get redirected on the Maya portal. So from here, the flow which is defined in the Maya will work. This is the one scenario, and let's say if I'll go back on Adecco USA. And access any non-Maya jobs. In that case, I will stop at the thanks page only. So let's see if I take this job. Yeah, so you don't see any button here now because it's not a Maya job. So that way it will work.
Sir, this is Abhishek here from for Adecco US. I have a question here.
Sure.
What is the difference between what the earlier implementation was? If I remember, in Maya testing we used to do, we had this continue application button, I think.
Yes. And now it's
so what is the change in the update?
So initially, if you remember, this button or this process of showing the thanks page was removed when the candidate was applying. It was redirecting directly on the Maya. Now this thanks page is reintroduced, and in that case, thanks page will come, and then the candidate will move on the Maya job.
Okay, so if I apply to the job, I will now get a thanks page. Initially, it was directly I was getting a Maya page.
Yes.
Is correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other question? All right, let's go to the next user story then. Next user story and last user story requested by USA. Again, related to the branch locator. So what is happening now is that we have a certain number of pages, like the branch page and city pages, which are defined in the tree of Sitecore. And one of the problems that USA found is that sometimes the branch page and city pages are available from their Sitecore URL instead of from their optimized URL. So the user story created here was to make sure that even if a default Sitecore URL was called for either a branch page or a city page, it was automatically redirected to the optimized URL in order to avoid duplicates for both the candidates, but even worse for the search engines.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So let me quickly, as we don't have this code deployment in the QF environment, I'll show from the EMEA.
Yes, I did.
So subscriber club is who's under that?
So right now, this is the URL which we have for the Adecco France branch page directly. And if I'll access this, so it has agency employee and state name, / city name, and / branch name. If I'll go directly on this, you can see that I get redirected back to the SEO friendly URL rather than the actual URL which I requested.
Just to clarify, we are talking about permanent redirection, 301 redirection, of course. Any question on this one?
There's no configuration for this. This will just be automatic.
Absolutely, it's automatically deployed and pushed. Nothing to do for the content managers.
Great, thank you so much.
No problem. Anything else? All right, let's jump into the tech user stories now, and then quickly to the bug fixed. Only one technical user story, which was actually done, it was internally not requested by any country, and then we don't have necessarily to explain all of them, also the bug fix, unless you have a question for the different bugs. So let's jump into the bug fix right now. We have a certain number of bug fixes, whereas for the branch locator, some URL rewriting and so on. Saurabh, can you go to the first?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Here we go. We'll give you like a few seconds to browse through the list and let us know if you have a specific question. Of course, some of the bug fixes are have been raised from a specific country, so we'll just give you time to have a look at the list and ask your question if you wish. In any case, this presentation will be shared as usual in our blog, so if you have any question after, feel free to contact us.
And so just so you know, that the demo configuration are the participants in the meeting today are just the people who are doing BAT.
Yeah.
So we don't have the whole community.
Mm-hmm. No problem. It's shared to the entire community. Yeah. All right. Do you have some question related to the bug fix? I'll take that as a no then.
Nope.
Thank you very much, everyone. This was live from the Adeco Demo channel. I wish you all a very nice day. Stay classy.